Yes.
All right, so he says youths.
Yeah.
Right. It's okay. So, anyways, these black teenagers.
You're not a lawyer.
Far from it.
Yeah.
I have morals. Sorry, all my lawyer friends that just unfriended me on Facebook. They don't listen anyways. They're higher class than that, right?
Yep.
They make more than $20 an hour.
What?
My lawyer friends. They make more than 20
just
an hour.
Move on, please. We're running out of time, and you're not making any sense.
So these black youths took advantage of this poor, mentally challenged, I thought he had autism or something, white guy. They hold him for a couple of days, duct tape them, cut him up, yell F Whitey and F Trump, and what else did they say? All kinds of stuff. This was in Chicago.
Yep.
Apparently, the victim was a quasi-friend of one of the black guys. The black guy stole a van, went into Chicago, where the victim stayed in the van in this 10-degree weather and slept there overnight outside in the van.
On purpose. I mean, not tied up.
No, right.
He went with them willingly.
Yeah. They were like, quote, buddies.
Yep.
And apparently they started like wrestling like teens might do, kind of joking around and fighting and stuff, and it was a lot of fun, and it sort of escalated. And then more people came into the situation, and that escalated. They duct tape them up, and they start videotaping and live streaming what they do to this guy for almost 2 days.
Yeah.
Where they're, threatening him with a knife, they're cutting his clothes, they're scalping him, yelling things at him, racial things about, you effing whitey and all this stuff. A lot of anti-Trump stuff. And for a while, this happened Tuesday. Hate crimes, which you and I both agree are stupid. We shouldn't have hate crimes. But what did they charge him with? Aggravated kidnapping, hate crimes, aggravated unlawful restraint, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, robbery, because apparently one of the neighbors where this guy was held complained. They went up to her house, kicked in her door, and stole some stuff from her.
Right. There's real winners, these people.
Yeah, these are high-class people. And we'll see what happens. But what was interesting, a lot of people were saying, the mainstream media didn't say much about this, which is true. Obama didn't come out and condemn this as, hate crime and this is bad. And a lot of the Black Lives Matters came out and said, well, these were just teenagers, fooling around and, how things go with teenagers. It gets out of hand and all of this stuff. But it was good to see that they finally were going to up it to hate crimes, other than the fact that you and I...
Yeah, what was good about it?
Yeah,
I mean, really, what... This is ridiculous, because I've seen a lot, and this happens all the time, but there's a lot of people being very hypocritical about that.
Right. Let me just go that they didn't do it so much that there was anti-white stuff that they were saying. It was his mental disability.
Sure.
Which was within the statute of the Chicago laws.
Uh-huh.
That's one of the things that can be a hate crime.
Uh-huh.
That's what they were emphasizing on.
So they did it because of his mental disability? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, because one of the things can be gender, sexual orientation, physical or mental disability, or national origin. Those are some of the things that cover hate crimes under the Chicago statute. And since they were saying things like, oh, you're kind of a mental retard and blah, 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 they went, okay, we can do it under that.
So if they
But
hadn't,
not the anti-white stuff.
If they hadn't, and who cares?
Right.
But what you're saying, and what's ridiculous about this, and what's hypocritical, a lot of conservatives that are like, oh, he was white, it's a hate crime, when if it was reversed, they would say, it's not a hate crime, hate crimes are bad. What difference does it make? If they hadn't said, hey, you're not smart, then their crime would have been somehow less evil?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Right.
It
Or-
doesn't make any sense to me. They cut the guy's head. The
yeah.
words they said, who cares?
Well, it adds on additional penalties, which is
Well, it's a
ridiculous.
completely separate charge.
Right. So I guess the idea is if we can't convince a jury that it's okay to cut his hair out and his scalp, but you shouldn't have said that he was retarded, they might be able to get a conviction under that. So it's just another charge. You know how they like to load up the charges because
No, I understand.
they're hoping something sticks to
My
the
problem
law.
isn't with the charge being levied, since the charge exists and the law exists. My problem is with the fact that hate crime is a charge that exists
Separate, yeah.
at all, right? I don't. It's if you shoot somebody, you shoot them. If you shoot them and say I hate white people,
Right.
you've still shot them. I
Right.
don't think it's.
The
I don't
crime
think it's
is
a lot
pretty
worse.
much the same, right?
Yeah,
The end result is the
exactly,
same.
Exactly.
The
And-
motivation is in
and
question.
frankly, as bad as it is, you should be able to say things, right? I mean, why not? I'm not free to say, Brian, you're an idiot.
Or, Brian, you're a big fat white guy and I hate white people. I'm going to kill you. Well,
Well, if you're threatening somebody,
is that
that's a little more gray, right?
no, I mean if he kills me because of that.
Oh, okay, right.
Right. Is
Right.
it any worse that he kills me or is it worse because he said I was a big fat
That's my
white
point.
guy? Yeah, right.
But if he says you're a big fat white guy and doesn't kill you, that's not a crime.
no, that's what's weird about this, right?
Right. That's my point. I don't like it.
I get it.
I don't like it.
I want to before we're getting close. I want to get into this because this is close to our heart, right, Nate? There's an organization out there called
Oh, I thought you meant our ribs.
our Campus Carry, right? There's a group of student activists out there trying to get in those states that don't allow students to carry guns on campus when they're allowed to outside of campus. Apparently, in Ohio, at Ohio State University, one of the activists was shot and killed off campus. We don't have a lot of details. At least I couldn't dig a lot of details on motive and what actually happened. But the cops were concerned because they said there seems to be a motive beyond just sort of a random. But we want to give our condolences to that student who seemed to be an exemplary student at Ohio State for his untimely death to carry a firearm for his own protection. We don't know the details.
Did you see that Dylan Roof? I don't know why this is in the news or why it's on our prep page, really, but you put it on there. So
I just want to real quickly say Dylan Roof, the guy that went into the church, shot a bunch of black people, killed them, found guilty of the crimes, many crimes,
hate crime, right?
hate crime, all kinds of other crimes.
Good.
They go to the sentencing because they have the death penalty there.
Would they have the death penalty if it had not been a hate crime? Would that still be an option?
I think North Carolina might have the death penalty. I don't know. Anyways, he's defending himself. He wanted to make it clear that he was not crazy, like they tried to portray him, and that he has no remorse for what he's done.
Well, you mean like his defense attorney,
Tried
the
to do
backup,
Right.
which I don't understand this.
Well, the judge allowed that.
Well, what I'm saying is he's representing himself,
In this part.
but he has a state-appointed backup attorney.
No, he had an attorney that worked for him through the case.
I know
up till he
that.
was found guilty.
I know that.
Okay.
But right now, he has a state-appointed backup attorney.
Right, and they were allowed to sit in the seats behind him.
Right.
For whatever reason. Anyways, I suspect he's going to get the death penalty because it sounds like that's what he wants,
Right.
which makes you question his sanity. Most sane people don't want to die.
Sure.
All right. What
So
else?
should he?
No, I'm opposed. I want to do a whole show on this. I'm opposed to the death
we have
penalty.
done a whole show on it.
And
It was back when you were in favor of public art and things like that.
Well, I'm still in favor of not having capital punishment, and I can go 20 minutes on that. Maybe we'll do that next week.
No.
What else we got?
If you want to replace, we're out of time, but if you want to replace your trivia question and this day in history with a rant about the death penalty, you're free. That's your time, Brian.
Okay.
That's your time.
That's like 25 minutes, right?
Right. Okay. We are
40 minutes.
See you next week.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.